Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 9 of the podcast. We're climbing up the ladder of the podcast level. I want to see if we get to episode 10 before the end of the year. But anyways, this episode is going to be about ranking my vacations. It's been a while since I've done a podcast episode, but thankfully that I posted a lot of other videos that are not podcast episodes between those that break on my main channel, which is good. Why I post my podcast on my main channel, because usually I'll post it on my Electric After Hours channel. You guys know about that. But the thing is, you see the big, huge gaps of like few months gaps between podcast episodes, and it would just look dumb. So I was like, frick it. And thank God, YouTube is this thing where you can have your one channel as everything. So you want live streaming, shorts, podcasts, like dubbing your voice for like different languages. That's all for one channel. You don't need to make a 15 channel for that thing. So YouTube Shorts were a little different because you can post these shorts on your main channel, but they were like really hidden compared to your other videos. Now YouTube Shorts are in its own column of videos, same as live streams, so it's much easier to find things on YouTube, which I love to do. Really loved. And they also added back the button where you can hit the oldest video on someone's channel, which is great too, because I use that a lot for channels and stuff. But yeah, we're gonna get into that right now. We're talking about my favorite vacations of all time. From rank 10 to 1, I'm gonna rank 10. Explain it. Go down 9, 8 times 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, we're gonna get started real quick. So if you guys do enjoy, please like on this video and share with others. Subscribe to my channel, by the way, too, if you guys are new. And let's start with this list. I wrote a list on the notes. So I look here. I'm looking at my notes. I don't write like descriptions of what I'm gonna what each vacation's about. I just wrote the list of the names. So we'll start from 10 and work our way down to 1. I also have some honorable mentions I'm gonna add into this. I only hit the 2 mark, so stay tuned for that as well. So coming in number 10 is actually the recent vacation I went on this July. So recently I went to West Virginia because what my family wants to try to do is we're trying to hit every state, to go to every state and visit their state and like do something there and have fun. So recently we went to West Virginia because that's kind of a boring state. So we could try to knock it off the list. So that's why I put it on number 10. What we did is we went to a city called Harper's Ferry, and we went to a nice little town there. I told him to go to a new place, which I get an ornament from that place. So we got a cool ornament. We stayed a few days there. Went to also Pennsylvania to go stay at Gettysburg. We also went to other places in Pennsylvania, and we had a good time. I mean, it was really short, so I only put it at number 10. And I liked it a lot because it was a newer vacation I remember a lot. Because some vacations I don't really remember too fondly. Some of the honorable mentions will reflect that. But this is one of my favorite vacations on the top 10 list. I have a cool shirt of Harper's Ferry. I think it's in the wash right now, so I can't like show you guys what Harper's Ferry is about. But like it shows like how like it's like one location where it has like all the some of the states come together. It's like West Virginia, like Pennsylvania, Maryland, and I think something like that. And then a little over yonder is believed to be Ohio, I don't know, something like that or whatever. But yeah, I went to West Virginia. It was a really short vacation. I can't really talk much about it. Just because I don't remember what else we did there. It was maybe 1 to 2 nights there. We didn't do much there. So yeah, it's pretty much about West Virginia. So let's move on to the second thing, top 9 of my favorite vacations. Top 9 is the time I went to Alabama. So the thing about Alabama is a boring state, but I actually spent more time there than anyone ever should if you go on a vacation. I spent at least 2 weeks in Alabama. 2 weeks. And 2 separate years, by the way. 1 week, one Alabama trip, second week, Alabama trip, which I was explain later in this timeline of this ranking system. So the first week was back in 2017. I went a week to Alabama because my sister got accepted into a space camp program for a week, and she has stayed in Alabama for that entire week. And my family thought it was a good idea to just go to Alabama too, just to visit that place. While my sister doing the space camp, my mom, dad, and I would visit Alabama and do stuff there. So first, some things we did were we went to this one place that had like a nice cavern place. It was like a nice church looking thing. Had like a nice cool bell and all that stuff, like made of the rocks. We went to some like nice seafood restaurants. We traveled around the area, which is some cool historic places. Because they not when I go to different places to travel, I don't know why myself. I like to go to historical places a lot. So stuff I learned like the American Revolution or the Civil War, a lot of American history stuff like that. I like to watch. I don't know what was with me about that. I like to just go to those places and see that stuff. I don't know. It's something I like to do. Like, I like that kind of history. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of history in general, but that is something I like to look at and go to. So we did stuff like that in Alabama as well. So for a week or so in July in 2017, I remember the month and week, not a week, but it was a week, but a month and a year. We went because I know the next year something cool happened, and I'll explain that to later in this ranking system. But I'm not gonna spoil it yet. But Alabama was my favorite trip. One of my favorite. I saw her sound. Okay, I think I'm just hearing things. And I rank it number 9 because it was a week and it's Alabama. Like we did some better. I did some better things in other places, so that's why I only ranked number 9 on my list of my favorite vacations. Coming in number 8 was a cool vacation because of the time it happened. I think if it went any other time, it wouldn't have been so great, but it felt really good, and how everything came along, it was pretty good. So number 8 was when I went to Philadelphia for a week in 2020. So by the way, when I went, it was February 2020. It wasn't like later on, so things weren't closed down. Things weren't like, oh, you can't wear masks. By the way, on this very channel, if you look back years ago from the early times, I actually vlogged this entire trip, this Philadelphia trip. So you guys see me going around places. I went to a lot of like historical sites. I saw the Philadelphia, I saw the Liberty Bell. I saw some like the first. It was like I saw the Declaration of Independence. I saw like the museums, stuff like that. The big square area, like the mid section of Philadelphia. I saw the LOVE stat thing, the LOVE. I just saw a Phillies game, but I didn't get to see them because it was February. They weren't in town. They weren't planes. I couldn't get to see them. I couldn't get to see them early in the season, later in the season because of them being not at their stadium and because of COVID, they cut their year short. So I couldn't get to see them, and it was really the reason why it was really fun is because it burst something into my world that I used to do in hotels from now on. So back in 2020, I don't know why, this is a weird thing to say. So back in 2020, I used to watch, sometimes I watched the TV in the hotel rooms. So I would watch like Practical Jokers on the TV, and that's like a big thing with my sister and I. We would just watch that and have fun. And like so my parents were just downstairs because the hotel had a restaurant in it, so they'll sit down at the restaurant and like talk and have fun. Well, me and my sister would stay upstairs in the TV, and that was a big thing. So every time we go to a new hotel, we always ask if they have true TV to watch Practical Jokers. So that's something cool we also do. It's a kind of tradition we did. Recently we went to Baltimore a couple days ago. I actually came back from Baltimore yesterday. I was in Baltimore yesterday and the day before. And we were watching Practical Jokers on the TV for a little while. If they had it on, sometimes a lot of time they didn't. But they had true TV on the TV, so we actually watched some Practical Jokers when we had the chance to. We usually do it after when we get home from like our vacation days. We don't what we do is we get up, eat breakfast at the hotel, and then we go out and maybe less than an hour later to do something, and we come back around middle of the day, 5 or 6 p.m. maybe or 7 p.m. We eat dinner out probably, and then we come home and we'd be tired and we would hang for a while. So as my Philadelphia birthed that, again, I love Philadelphia because historical sites. I love historical sites. I love historical trip. My favorite kind of thing to do is seeing all these historical sites again. And definitely more historical because these are U.S. history, American Revolutionary history. Declaration of Independence is a big thing to see. The Liberty Bell is a big thing to see. Something I always wanted to see was that. So I get to see it now. It's crazy in the whole room. And I would love to see it all again. I mean, if I could go to Philadelphia again, just for maybe a Phillies game or something like that, Philadelphia Phillies. I'm a baseball fan. I'm not a Phillies fan, Mets fan, but I like to see all stadiums and see a game. So yeah, because recently, 2 days ago, I actually went to see a Baltimore Orioles game, which is not on the list of my favorite vacations because again, it's 2 or 3 days. It doesn't really count, But you'll see something later that you want to see, that makes sense. Actually, it's next on the list, so I'm gonna explain that real quick after I finish talking about Philadelphia. So, but I think that's actually pretty much it about Philadelphia. That I went and it was really fun week. And we'll move on to and I got into cool ornament as well. It was some like president. It was like, it was Thomas Jefferson and all that cool stuff. But then we're gonna move on to my number 7 on the list of my favorite vacations. Number 7 was actually Baltimore. Not this Baltimore recently. Like, I went on like a couple days ago. I mean, I went to Baltimore, so cool. So it kind of like comes all back in together. So I guess it kind of counts, but I don't know. I mean, so recently I went to Baltimore and I went to see a Baltimore Orioles game because I love all baseball again. It's it's a baseball team. I saw them play the Blue Jays because my sister's a big fan of Blue Jays. You know, she's not the biggest Blue Jay fan. She's a Yankee fan, but she also likes the Blue Jays because bullshit. Yes, I went to see the Orioles game and then the Blue Jays play. And I wore Blue Jays gear because I have Blue Jays gear. I went to a Blue Jays game 2016, and I wore that shirt, and I got 6 people to sign it. I have 3 signatures on that shirt now. I had 2 before the game, and then I have 3 now. So I got 1 other extra person to sign it. Davis Schneider of the Blue Jays, rookie guy, so I don't really know who he is. But he signed my shirt, and I was pretty happy. And then I also had Dalton Varsho and Anthony Bass sign it earlier in the season, like when I went to Citi Field and they're playing the Blue Jays. I wore Blue Jays gear. It was a Mets game. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna wear Blue Jays and Mets gear. So then that's what I did. I wore a Mets jersey over the Blue Jays. But yeah. So then I went to the Orioles game with the Blue Jays gear. Sadly, the Blue Jays lost 7-0 to the Orioles, but I'm happy that they won because if you see back there, if you see like where I'm pointing at, if you're watching on YouTube, you see like that. Behind the Freddy Fazbear statue is this book. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, I can see it then. Yeah, it's a book where I keep all my game logs. Every time I go to a baseball game for all my life, I log into the book. If the home team wins, it counts the win for my book. If even though the Mets could be playing the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park and the Mets win, that's great for the Mets. But for me, it's not. It's not. It doesn't count as a win because they actually lost. So I put it as a loss on the column. You know, I wanted the Mets to win the game. So yeah, so Baltimore was a good trip. The one I actually want to talk about is when I went to Baltimore back in like it was 2014. Yeah, 2014 time. So I went to Baltimore in 2014. My first time I went to Baltimore. I went to this Baltimore just a standalone trip back in I think it was July or August. Another summer vacation trip. These are all summer vacation trips. None of these were really, except for Philadelphia. That was a February trip because I had a week off for school, midwinter break kind of thing, you know. So I went to Philadelphia, but Baltimore, we went to the things to see in Baltimore. You know, we went to Camden Yards, Orioles Park, but we didn't like watch a game. We went like in the outskirts of it. We went to like the around the building. We saw what we could see there. Couldn't go in obviously because we didn't have tickets or in the game. Also, they weren't there to play that day, so we couldn't see the game. Plus, we also went to the National Aquarium. We went to the other historical sites. I really don't remember this one too much. This was almost 10 years ago, but it still sticks with me in my memory sometimes because it was like my first big trip around the states and around the cities, which was pretty cool to see. I ranked them on low because we only saw Baltimore. Some of these were like more states trips, and some were just a lot better in general. So that's why I ranked Baltimore number 7. But it did spark a lot of new, cooler trips in the future. And I also went back to Baltimore twice since then. Once it will be mentioned later in the list. I will explain it then. And then I told you about the yesterday I went to Baltimore. So, yeah. So now we're going to move on to number 6 on the list. Number 6, I went to Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire all in one trip. So what I did was I took a plane to Boston, Massachusetts. I went there. We drove to Maine, and then drove back to Massachusetts, seeing things. Obviously, we went to Maine. Went to saw some lighthouses. We went to see some seafood restaurants because they're known for that. On the East Coast, it's a big thing for that. Phone is buzzed. Okay, no, nothing important. Yeah. So then we saw that. Saw some cool lobster stuff. And then went to New Hampshire. Same thing with New Hampshire. A lot of these things were just mostly seafood by the bay kind of place we went to. We went to Portland and Portsmouth. And yeah, the place that was Portsmouth was in New Hampshire. Portland was in Maine. We went to these trips. It's a little higher than Baltimore, but not too high on my list because, again, this one like was right after. This was the trip 2015, right after Baltimore, which sparked because I told you Baltimore sparked a lot of cool trips. So that one was really cool to go to. And we went to after those two, we went back to Boston. Boston, we saw a lot more things. We saw went on their transit system. We went to I think it was like a duck ride, something like that. I forgot what else we did. We couldn't see a Boston Red Sox game. I don't know why. I think because my family hates the Boston Red Sox. I mean, Yankee fans, Mets fans should hate the Boston Red Sox by default. But we did take a ferry around the Boston. I remember that around Boston. And I did see Family Park from the outside a little bit, like when the ferry was driving by it. So yes, Family Park. We did see somewhat. I somewhat say we saw Family Park, but we never really went in or close to Family Park. So I guess I really don't count it. Only park that I count that I've been into and gone to was Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, Camden Yards, T-Mobile Park, and I guess Nationals Park because I went to the gift shop and I took pictures around the place, but I actually never went in and watched the game. Oh, and Rogers Center. I went to Rogers Center as well. Rogers Center is Blue Jays Stadium. And T-Mobile Park is Seattle Mariners. I keep forgetting Rogers Center a lot. I mean, it's something I just forget I do, but I'll explain in the next part when I get my vacations on until later. But yeah, that's pretty much it about the Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire trip. That was a good trip. That was 2015, so I really don't remember that much. Then we move on to my next trip. Next trip, number 5, is when I went to Canada. This is the one and only time I've actually left the country in my lifetime. I just got my passport during this time. 2016, it was July. I remember that because on August I took another trip somewhere else, but it's not actually didn't crack this list. But I was putting it in my honorable mentions. Canada, I went to see Niagara Falls. Obviously, it's a big thing to see. I went to Toronto to see a Toronto Blue Jays game. There was a lot of things in Toronto. Went to London, Ontario, because my family actually lives in parts of Canada, so we stayed with them for a little while. My dad's side, we went to their house, stayed at their house, and we visited a lot of the family that lived in the area. We had a nice barbecue sit-out area with them, and yeah, I mean, Canada was a free fun trip. What else would we do? I think we did some other stuff there too. A lot of stuff you think you do in Canada. We stayed in the eastern area. We never go to when we went to Saskatchewan. We didn't go to District of Columbia. We didn't go to anywhere like Montreal. I want to go to Montreal and I want to go to Toronto again. But until then, I gotta wait till I'm 18 to get my passport. Passport, because when you're a child and you want to get a passport, it only lasts 6 to 8 years or something like that. While adult passport lasts 10 years, so it's better to wait so I can renew it instead of every 6 years. I renew it 10 years. But yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. I rank it 5 because it's first time, one of the time I left the country. That's pretty cool. That's something I want to do again. Leave the country. I mean, Puerto Rico's not really leaving the country, but I guess because it's still American territory. So, it's like leaving the United States, that island, I guess. But Hawaii doesn't count, and Alaska doesn't count either. But I also want to go to some of the Caribbean islands, I guess, or South America, somewhere. I want to go somewhere outside America sometimes. But yeah, Canada's the first time I went there, and hopefully I can go back someday because that's one of my favorite trips as well. I'd like to see Niagara Falls again. I'd like to see all that again, but I'm probably gonna see a Toronto Blue Jays game again. I did see a Toronto Blue Jays game. I mentioned that already. If you look at the back, you see right there is a Toronto Blue Jays cup, a helmet. Where they have ice cream usually in it. That actually I got that from Toronto Blue Jays game, and I had a Toronto Blue Jays hat. That's all packed away because I went to a Toronto Blue Jays game when they played the Orioles at Camden Yards. So I have all my Blue Jays stuff tucked away, and Orioles and Blue Jays stuff tucked away. I have a Blue Jays shirt signed by 3 people. My sister has a Blue Jays hat signed by 6 people. One of them is actually Don Mattingly. It's crazy to see Don Mattingly is one of the freaking best Yankees. But yeah, Canada was a good trip. I would definitely go again. And now we'll move on to number 4 on my list. Number 4 is the only one that actually didn't require me to leave New York. So I live in New York, obviously. This one's a good trip because I didn't leave New York, but it's still a good trip to put on high in the list too. It's in top four, at least top five, top four. And this one is when I went to Cooperstown, upstate in Utica, or around that area, New York, Cooperstown, New York. Cooperstown is where the Baseball Hall of Fame is. If you guys don't know what the Baseball Hall of Fame is, it's like upstate New York. So it's like, say this is like New York with a little like tip in the end. Let's go this way. This is like where I am, New York City. This is where this is New York City. This is where I am. This is where I am, New York City. This is where the Cooperstown is, upstate New York. We went there to see the Baseball Hall of Fame because I really wanted to go one day. Went back in 2019. I don't know what month it was. We saw the baseball. It was really fun to see. I got a lot of new baseball gear. Got like Pete Alonso and Jacob DeGrom socks. I got a Jacob DeGrom poster, which I don't have on my wall anymore. It was where the Minecraft poster is now, but I took it down due to the fact that Jacob DeGrom is no longer on the Mets. And I was like, I don't want him on my wall. Unless he retires with the Mets or like retires as a Met, like, you know, if he goes in the Hall of Fame and like, or like some Mets Hall of Fame, something like that. I'll put him back on the wall, and I might probably put him. I don't know where to put him, but I'll put him somewhere. And we also we got a lot of new cool sweatshirts and the cool memorabilia for the Mets. Got baseball cards. I went to the plaques. I took a picture of the whatchamacallit. I took a picture of Matt Piazza's plaque and Tom Seaver's plaque. I took a picture of the Mets World Series rings. I took a picture of some like cool they had like cool displays of Mets lockers, I guess. Mets like memorabilia. And then I took a picture of like one time that they showed Edwin Diaz as a Mariner in the Hall of Fame, but it was like a computer image. And that's when he sucked, so I was like, ooh. And then you had the Philly Fanatic in there too, so I give him a thumbs down. And then what else do we have? We had also after we went to Cooperstown, I'm gonna add this into the Cooperstown trip. So this was after we went to Cooperstown, we went down more south in New York, still upstate New York where I am at. I rode on the Erie Canal. Actually, they allow people to like go hold the steering wheel and like pretend to drive this Erie Canal. So actually, I have a picture of myself driving the Erie Canal. If I could find it on my phone real quick, I will show you. But I don't know where. I'm probably pretty close right now. It's 2018. Okay, I'm clear. Yeah, no, right here. Boom. Bam. That's me on the Erie Canal, guys. I said picture. Okay, now actually, I can show you pictures of what I'm talking about for things because, all the trips beforehand were earlier trips except for the West Virginia one and. Yeah, the West Virginia one. So I can show you the pictures for the other ones, such as one was the Philly Fanatic. Me just throwing him down. I hated that guy. The Edwin Diaz thing right here. 57 active saves. Those single season records, I guess. I don't know. There's the 1969 ring, Mets ring. 1986 World Series ring. Then we have like locker displays of like memorabilia and stuff. We had Mike Piazza plaque. We had the Tom Seaver plaque. Oh, full streaming. And then we have. Also, I went to Pennsylvania at that time. I went to the PNC Field, which is like where like the Yankees Wilkes-Barre where the Rail Riders play, I believe. It was Rail Riders. I don't know, it doesn't have a name on the front. Ow. But yeah. That's pretty much it from that trip. That's number 4 on my list. That's pretty high. Cause I love baseball. If I didn't like baseball, I went to say the Basketball Hall of Fame or something like that, or something it wouldn't be high on the list. But I like baseball and that, and I spent a lot of time there. Got a lot of cool Mets memorabilia. So I put it high on my list. So now we move on to the top 3 favorites in my favorite vacation list. Coming in at number 3, we have a recent trip I went on last year. I went to Seattle. Seattle was a really great trip because I went with my uncle and my sister, and that's about it. Usually, these trips I went with my mom, my dad, my sister, and me. But this is the only trip I actually went on. Well, she's not one of the only trips I went on. The only trip I went with my uncle, my sister, and me. It's the only trip I went with just us three outside of the state. Because I go hang with my uncle a lot in New York, but never outside of New York. So he lives in Seattle. So I actually visited him with my sister in Seattle. We went to his house. He had a really nice house, 4 bedrooms, all for himself. He lives by himself, and he has a cool TV. Sound system is amazing. And he lives in like a nice hill area, kind of in a quite peaceful area. Easy to walk to the light rail. So simple. So then we went to the Space Needle. The main thing to do in Seattle is go to the Space Needle. We went to a place near the Space Needle. It's called the Mopop Museum, which is like a place where they have like pop culture museum where they got like cool artists and rock artists. I got 2 cool posters I'm gonna show you right now. So we got this poster, Green Day, and we got that Queen poster up there, which no one really sees. So like back in the day, I used to show the Green Day poster, but I don't really show that much anymore. And you guys probably never knew that that Queen poster was there either. I love Queen. My favorite rock group is Queen. So I love all the songs. I know at least like 20 something other songs, which is crazy to know. I mean, like, it's alright, but yeah, there was something else we saw in Seattle was the Pike Place Market, which is where they throw the fish over. It's like nothing famous thing to see in Seattle. We'll pass by the first Starbucks. We then saw a Seattle Mariners game, as you see right there next to the yellow Yoshi. We have the Seattle Mariners Ice Cream Helmet Cup, where they put the ice cream in, and I got another one of those at that stadium too. And we had a fun night there. What else did we do? Some of the big things we did there. We went to some cool. We went to this cool restaurant on this boat. I forgot what the boat's called. It's a famous area, but I forgot. It was a boat. It was some restaurant near the water. And if I remember what the name was called, I'll tell you, but I can't remember. If I have a picture, I'll show you, but I don't remember. Something else we also saw was my brain just blanked. Oh yeah, we went to these horse and corgi races. So the horse races were pretty. I mean, the horse races, I guess it's pretty cool. But the corgi races were my favorite part because like they've like horse races were like going from like here to like turn around and then come back around to this spot. The corgi races are like this long. They go from here to point A to point B easily. And they're the best because like they have some cool names. We would bet on the horses and the corgis and see who won. I'm not sure. I don't think we won anything, but we bet on them. And then and then I forgot. I remember the dog one. By the way, if you guys see my main channel again, the YouTube Shorts. My top 5, I think it's the top 5 or top 10 short is corgi races in Seattle. That's the one I'm talking about. When I saw the corgi races, that was the last race we saw. And whoever won that race was the winner of the corgi races. They had like different brackets of who won. And that dog who actually won that race was the one who won the race of the corgi races. And we just stayed for the entire time of the horse races because one is like, okay, we want to stay there for the corgi races. That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. We saw that. We saw the Dame Busters too. Something I like to do. So we went there for a little while as well. Before and after the corgi races and the horse races. And yeah, we went. That's pretty much it. We saw a lot in Seattle. We drove around a lot too. We went. Oh, because my uncle lives there and works there. He works as a postal worker for the USPS. So he showed me my sister and I his route for when he works. So he showed like his cool stores he goes to, like a hotel he went to, a shoe store, a lot of other cool places. We went around there. We drove around. We also played pool at his house. He had a pool table at his house. We did bowling. It was a lot of fun. It was a cool trip because like we did a lot. It was like my family members in a new setting. And it's like his house, so he know how to show us around and do stuff there. So we packed a lot in a week vacation, a week and a half vacation, and it was really fun. So I tell you, I was going to put top 3, not top 1. I'll explain in some other vacations that I liked a tad bit better. So we're gonna move on to number 2. Number 2 we have here. This one was weirdly underrated for me. And then went from Virginia, North Carolina, and Delaware trip. And this was a really underrated trip because, again, we saw a lot. It was longer than expected, and we saw a lot of historical sites. We saw a lot of baseball. We got a little bit of everything I wanted. Everything I want to see, we got to see, and it was great. So I'll explain it. So it was a little longer one. So when we got closer to the top ones, they're going to get a longer explanation because the first few were like, I went there, I really don't remember, let's just get them off the list. But these are cooler, so we're going to talk about them a little more. So first things first, this trip started, we went to Maryland. I'm not sure it was Baltimore, but it was Maryland. We saw, some of my family, on my dad's side again, lived in Maryland, so we visited them for the first day to have dinner with them. The next day, we actually went to the Camden Yards to look around again. We took pictures again there. We went there again. So that's the second time I went to Baltimore out of the 3 times I've been there. So yes, no, now the time I went to Baltimore, I went there to see for fun. And then afterwards we thought, hey, let's go to Nationals Park too. Like, fuck it, we'll go to Nationals Park and we'll see not a game, just go there, you know. So we went to Nationals Park. We went to the gift shop. I got a Nationals hat. I got the mascot plush and a monkey plush. I have all my bag again. I packed them for my other vacation because, you know, I packed all the baseball characters in my one bag to go to the game. But the thing is, what's the thing? Funny story was happened. When it was 2019 before the Nationals actually won their World Series. They actually never won before. It was 2020, not 2019, 2021. After they won the World Series. They won their first World Series 2019 and 2021. And so they went. So I remember I wanted a Max Scherzer jersey. For some reason, like, that's the one player I knew on the Nationals at the time, mostly. I know a lot of players, but Max Scherzer one stuck out to me a lot. So my mom, hey mom, can I get a Max Scherzer jersey? She's like, no, it's stupid. Like, it costs too much. It's a dumb jersey. I don't why. A few months later, Max Scherzer became a Met, and they could have bought a jersey for Max Scherzer before he went to the Met, but no. Probably cheaper now if they have Max Scherzer and Nationals jersey, but who cares? Anyways, that's what happened there. So after Maryland, we went to Virginia. We stayed a long time in Virginia because there's a lot to see in Virginia. A lot of colonial historical sites to see there. We had Jamestown, we had Yorktown, we had Williamsburg, colonial Williamsburg, and we saw some other stuff in Virginia, like other cities and stuff in that area. Jamestown, we spent a day there. They have their own like historical building to look around, museum to check out the fights that happened there about Jamestown and about Yorktown. And then we saw Yorktown, which was worse than Jamestown. I gotta admit. The only reason why, it's this dumbest thing. In the food court, sounds dumb right now. It really sounds dumb. This lady who works the food court pissed me the fuck off, and it was stupid because I'm from New York, so I'm gonna admit this right now. I'm from New York. When I see like too niceness, I think it's fake. I think it's cliche bullshit. Be someone you're not is like being nice. Like, you shouldn't be someone you're not. Be like, just act normal. Don't be a fucking weird. Like, how can I do you for today? Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. Just be what you want. You know, we don't want to. Just don't be too personal with the person you're working for. It's so stupid. So the person was like, can you pretty please blah blah blah. She says a lot of pretty pleases and like do a lot of stuff like that, and it pissed me the fuck off. And then I asked for barbecue sauce for my chicken tenders. I got ordered chicken tenders at the food court, and she went like this. This is my this is the table. This is the barbecue sauce. Boop. I wanted to go boop. Yeah, I was pissed at that shit. It was so disgusting. I'm getting overacted for over nothing, but it was still silly how that was a thing. New York, if you do that, you're just getting your fucking ass pounded by some tough guy. But yeah. So then we had, after we went to Virginia, we went down to North Carolina for a couple days. We stayed about the watery area because We went to we wanted to go to Kitty Hawk. Kitty Hawk is a place in North Carolina on the really east coast near the water, where the Wright brothers actually flew their first airplane. The reason why I for years I wanted to go there since like when I was in third grade. I did a project on the Wright brothers, and I wanted to go to Kitty Hawk ever since because I liked the Wright brothers and it was pretty interesting to me to see them. And I finally went after so many years, and I was really excited to see the Wright brothers. A museum. They had a whole memorial museum there. I got a cool shirt that I actually packed in my bag again. Crazy how everything comes all together. And then what else I did? We also bought an ornament too. We bought ornaments for everything, and then we came back up to go back home. We stayed a few days in Virginia again. We went to the, a little tip of Virginia, like like Virginia's like this, and has a little tip at the end, right here. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I'll show you a picture of Virginia real quick, cause Virginia is wonky. Second here. Virginia, okay, Virginia. So see how like that's like okay, wow, you cannot see that. Okay, see how that's like the little stem like right there. That's part of Virginia. That's part of Maryland or anything like that. So we went through there. How we get there is that we had the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is in tunnel, which is the fucking scariest thing to be on, because you're like you're going over a bridge in tunnel, which is normal, but water, nothing else, no like land, no nothing. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere over a fucking bridge, a long bridge and tunnel. So what I'll do, I'll be my phone. I'll look down like this, not look up at all. When we get to the tunnel, I look up, take a few breaths, look up, be normal. Then I look back down when we get to the up over the bridge. And I did that for a little while, and I was fucking terrified of it. I don't know why. I have thalassophobia, so that's why I was like scared of that. And then we went to back to that little tip of Virginia, which is called city we went to is called Chincoteague. Chincoteague is this weird like city in Virginia where like my sister, my mom said it was fucking perfect. Like it was really a perfect place to go to. It was like a happy little accident that we found. Plus we found a hotel there. The restaurant nearby was great. The pool was great. The area was fucking awesome. It was great. If we can go back ever again, we would. But yeah, Chincoteague it was a small town, never heard of. We went to, it was cool. Went to Delaware for a little while. Went to Virginia Beach, where I lost my pair of sunglasses twice. I had a pair of sunglasses on my head, which I actually let go of, and I lost them in the water. I actually bought them at Jamestown or Yorktown, and I lost them there. And then the sunglasses in that, the infamous picture of me with sunglasses on with the gun. My gun actually fell down over here, so like I'll show you. A picture of me doing this. That sunglasses actually are somewhere in Virginia Beach, somewhere in the water, in the ocean somewhere, so they're never gonna be seen again. So the sunglasses I have now are a replacement pair that I bought at Urban Outfitters. By the way, I got them at Urban Outfitters. So yeah, cool, right? Honestly, so then that was a really scary day for that. That was a really sad day, scary day. That day, Virginia Beach. Then we went to Dewey Beach. We didn't go on the beachy area. But we actually went somewhere. We went to a hibachi restaurant. Went to cool restaurants around there. Went to got a cool shirt, cool ornament. We crossed off Delaware off our list to go there. And then we went back to New Jersey for a day, to first pit stop, and then we went back home. Cool trip, long trip, for like 2 weeks at least trip. And I just like the trip because it was a long trip, not short. I like longer trips rather than this one. Week trips are good, but I like the longer trip is better. I like it. So yeah, but sometimes like when you come back home from a long trip, my house just feels like really weird because like one, I remember coming back from the West Virginia trip, it was fucking hot in here. Like it was burning up hot in here. Turn the AC on immediately. I'm like, oh my god, it's hot as shit in here. Smelled kind of weird because I think some of the food in the house was like a little iffy. We were gone for like at least close to a week, and then yeah, it was awful. So sometimes, but anyway, we're gonna move on to number 1 on the list of my favorite trips. Before we do that, we're gonna say some honorable mentions. We have Three honorable mentions before we go on to top one. The first honorable mention, this one like almost cracked top 10. I put it top 10, but my West Virginia trip was like I think it was slightly better 'cause I know more about it. But this one's pretty cool. I went to Disney World. Disney World, I'm surprised it didn't crack top 10. It's surprising how it didn't. The only reason I didn't crack top 10 because I was 5 years old and I really don't remember a lot of it. I remember enough to have a cool story about it, but not enough to like crack top 10. 11, but like by a small margin, like by a fucking minuscule. The reason I put Disney World, if it wasn't 5, if I was like the 8 I was at now, I would like it more. I didn't go on any rides. I remember going down the kingdom and meeting the mascots of each character. I remember going to like the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. I remember going to a cool restaurant with Matt Goofy, who breathed fucking heavy, bro. I remember he breathed on my fucking neck. He was like, you can't hear, but you feel like a fucking hot burn behind your neck. He's breathing so much. And I remember one time, funny thing happened. I think Dora was there, or something like that. No, was Dora there? Or was some other character was there? I don't know who. My dad was like, and I wanted to go to the bathroom, and then I think that one of them stopped us and said, "Oh, we gotta go to the bathroom." Like, and the character was like this. It was funny as fuck. And then I remember we had 2 piglets, stuffed animals. So we had like the took with us, that we had used. It was raining a lot there, so we wear ponchos a lot. I think I still have the ponchos from Disney World. We have ornaments from Disney World with all our pictures on it. One of the favorite ornaments on our house. When you put the ornament up on the Christmas tree, we are like, it's special. So you're special. And what else we have there? We have, I remember like the Chip and Dale. For some reason, we had a thing where like they were scared of ponchos. I don't fucking know what that was all about. Like we couldn't wear ponchos in the place that they were at. And apparently, something I got lost at one point at Disney World. Also, it was raining a lot again. So we were in the pool once, and it was thunder and lightning. We had to get out quickly. But then we came back home, back to the hotel, and yeah, there's a lot I remember about it. But like, I feel like Disney World now has a lot more to do than Disney World back then. So like, I feel like I could have done more there. At least I don't remember any of it. But this December, we're going to Disney World again. For my school trip for high school, I'm about to be a senior. They're gonna have a senior school field trip in December to go to Disney World. So I don't know why December. Why not May or June or April? December is the only time it got. So we're going there and gonna have a lot of fun, hopefully, and see what's gonna happen there. I haven't been to Disney World in a hot minute. Another honorable mention that I want to mention is Alabama. So I have Alabama. Oh no, okay. Rhode Island. I have that one already. I didn't mark it down as one of the ones I've been on. Whoopsies. Okay. Rhode Island. So in 2016, after I went to Canada, the month after I went to Rhode Island for a while. Only reason I put it on the list, like next to Baltimore or Philadelphia or something like that, I don't remember anything about it, to be honest. I don't really remember. The reason I know we've been there is because I remember we went there after Canada. Like, I know we've been there, but I forgot what we did at all there. To be honest with you, probably seafood restaurants. There's not a lot to do in Rhode Island, to be honest. It's kind of a boring state. But we went there because we want to go to all the states. We knocked it off the list, and we went there. So I don't know what to say about fucking Rhode Island. It's Rhode Island. And yeah, that's another honorable mention. Another honorable mention I want to talk about, I forgot to mention earlier. It's like a 2 things I want to mention. Honorable mention. I went to Hershey Park at one point in my life. Again, don't remember much about it. I know we've been there before, and we also been to Dutch Wonderland or something like that, or I think it was called Dutch Wonderland. But again, I think it was that or something else. But I don't remember it too much, so I didn't put it on the list of my favorite vacations. But now we are done with all the honorable mentions. Disney World was like the top fucking like 10, like a missed top 10, like by very much. So I'll talk about it. The other ones were just like so I had to put it on the list. So now I'm on to number 1 vacation of all time. Number 1 vacation was Space Camp in Alabama. So My sister in 2017 got to go to space camp because my school nominated her to go because she was of age and she got nominated to go. She had 2 years to try out. She had sixth grade and seventh grade to try out to go to space camp, and sixth grade she just got declined. Seventh grade she tried out. She got in, and then so she got to go to space camp for a week, and then the year afterwards I actually was like I had the eligibility to go to try out for space camp, and then I got nominated to go. That's my first year to go instead of my second year. So I got lucky the first time because if I didn't get nominated the second time, the first time I wouldn't have actually been able to go because they stopped doing it after the second year. So I got lucky, really lucky the second time. So I'm pretty happy that happened. Then I went to space camp for over a week. I thought it was like 10 days or something like that, or a week. In July of 2018, it's when actually going on my first phone. So I have my first few pictures on my phone are from space camp. They're not the best pictures in the world, but they are pictures I can show you guys. So the people from space camp are here. Got something I'm sure we had to do a scavenger hunt, so like see some random pictures here of people. So I was jumping. We had for a picture. We were shooting. We were doing rocket testing because it's space camp. You're doing rocket testing. You train like an astronaut for a little while as well. You go on this cool ride where you're strapped in, and then you they spin you around a little bit. And then you also do this thing where you had to where you're they had to take projects where like one project we had to like pretend we had to fix something on the space station, and then so we had to do it. I had to dress in a full space suit, which I think I have a picture of actually, and had to fix something outside of like the space station because they had like a whole model of that space station outside. I think I have a picture of it, but I have it like in a later date because my mom sent it to me later on for a project I had to do. Yeah, I have a picture of it. Okay, perfect. Boom. Me wearing a spacesuit, all cool and dandy. I was like strapped in a suit on a whole machine. That's me there. Pretty cool to learn about space and all that. Again, I was nominated by my school, so me, two of the kids from my school, plus my fifth grade teacher. We all went. My mom and my dad and my sister went also to Alabama, but they did their own thing, like how I did with my sister, where we did our own thing. So they did. I don't know what they did, to be honest. I know they went to the Hermitage where Andrew Jackson lived. I think he's also buried, or just lived. I don't know. They also went a little bit to Tennessee, a little bit. And then and then I went to my whole space camp. I made some new friends. Only issues I have with space camp was one, you couldn't plug your phone in a lot. Like, there's no place of plugging your phone anywhere. So, phone usage was very limited. Because where I was sleeping, they had no charging like socket in the wall. They had one like where I wanted to sleep, but someone like stole my bed. So I was like, "Fuck, okay." So I could have put my phone in there. The person I was with, my friend who was with my school, had to like sleep stuff in that bed. I couldn't like wait put the charger with him. But also that was a big problem. It was like they had like this whole like charging station in the front of the place, which I didn't trust anybody to keep my phone there because I was afraid someone would steal it. Second thing is, sleeping was a problem. We're all dudes, we're all boys, so like going to sleep at around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is just a pain in the ass. I was somewhat tired, so I guess it was kind of easy to hard, but getting every kid to shut up and sleep, fucking hard. We got yelled at a lot of times, we got told on. Just the entire sleeping arrangement was a pain, because I had to put earplugs in, all that stuff. Another thing is the lockers. They had like little lockers if you want to put stuff in there. I got worried because my lock was like getting broken, was like jamming up. So I was like, fuck. I put my phone in my locker. I was like, shit, and I couldn't get it out. I got really scared. So yeah, and then I bought a monkey at the gift shop once, and then one day I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't find the monkey. I was like, whoa, what the hell happened to the monkey? And then some kid woke up, and I woke up a few minutes later, or hours later, and some kid said, "Is this your monkey?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then some people say the kids were fine with it. I'm like, okay. And then the last day, I said to the people, "This is my monkey." Some kid did this, pulled their pants like this, put the monkey on their sack, and teabagged the shit up. And I was like, oh fuck. So I had to wash the monkey and it took me a few days to get that monkey back. But I actually brought it on my trip again for Baltimore. So pretty cool. A lot of things come back together and all are wonderful too. So yeah. On this base camp trip, we also got at the end of the trip we got a t-shirt, a red t-shirt, which I don't think I have anymore because this was back in 2018, 5 years ago. Probably don't fit in it anymore. I don't think my sister just fits in hers either, so she got rid of it. But I kept one thing. I'm gonna turn my camera around. I'm gonna show you guys real quick what I'm talking about. I kept. Damn, it's hard to do. This space camp uniform. So we see as the space camp has my name on the badge. I'm not showing my last name really. On the some patches, and it's a whole jumpsuit space camp where like astronauts usually wear. Pretty dope because it sadly doesn't fit me because again it was when I was a kid. It doesn't fit my sister either probably. Hers. So, but if I actually try to squeeze it in, it will actually fit, but really uncomfortable. Like, it'd be like high waters. It would just be awful. But it's cool to have because it shows like an accolade in my life, and I hung it up there because it's cool. And yeah, I also have a lot of my stuff around me are accolades that I've done and all the cool things I've done in my life. So I kind of want to do in my room, but yeah. And that's space camp. And it was a week. It was so. A lot of the trips I've been on were really cool. This was my best because first time I've ever been on a school trip. A technical vacation without my parents. Technically, you know, they were in the same state as me. They were just like kind of far away. Cool thing about the trip is that the space camp. They always had a problem with space camp with a plane situation. Because when I went to Alabama the first time, they had a problem with the flights. So could we use American Airlines fucking sucks, by the way. I'm gonna say that real quick. American Airlines sucks. Our flight got canceled. Their flight got canceled. So I stayed an extra day in North Carolina because our connecting flight got canceled. We flew to North Carolina, got connected to connect North Carolina back to New York, but our North Carolina to New York flight got canceled. So we stayed in North Carolina. I stayed in North Carolina for a day in Alabama after the Alabama trip, the first one, and then the same thing happened with the space camp trip. The first one, my sister's space camp trip, she had to go to Houston, fucking Houston, and then back to New York somehow. I don't know how that worked. Well, I had to go from Alabama to North Carolina to St. Louis to New York, which is crazy, which is dumb. But I had to get technically flight somehow and get back home. And then the day before that, I heard that they had a problem with the flight, so they couldn't get back the same day as well. The day they're supposed to get back every time was never the day that was planned for the last 2 years. The year that I went was technically the next day that they're supposed to get back because of delays on the flights. But we got back the day that, like, it was just because it was midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. The time we got back home, it was really tiresome. And they also had problems with our luggage. They couldn't find the luggage. We had to go back the next day to actually claim our luggage. A lot of stuff happened at Space Camp and all that. That's why it was a cool trip because of all these like problems and fun stuff that happened. A lot of things were like out of control and all that stuff. And it was also a cool trip because I got nominated to go somewhere for a trip to get nominated for something. By the Fish and Richardson crew. The bag I actually took to my trip for Baltimore was a Fish and Richardson bag that they gave me. Pretty awesome. Love the bag. That's my favorite backpack that I have. And I actually had a present from the Fish and Richardson group about my school trip. I actually missed some classes because of that. But yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean, I could talk for a while more nitty gritty about my trips. But I've been talking for 54 minutes. Can you believe that right now? Me, myself, and I talk for 54 minutes without any distractions from yonder. So we're gonna end the podcast before anything bad happens. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in a podcast episode. Don't drink that bleach and stay lit. I can see it in the podcast because this is my main channel. Bye, guys.